Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a moment in history that perfectly illustrates the incredible power of patience, wisdom, and strategic thinking. We're talking about a pivotal event in early Islam, a moment that might initially seem like a setback, but ultimately paved the way for monumental success, the Treaty of Hudaybiyyah. This isn't just a story from the past. It's a timeless lesson in overcoming obstacles with grace and foresight. Imagine this, it's the year 628 AD. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, along with about 1,4 of his devoted companions, embarks on a journey from Madinah. Their destination, Makkah, the sacred city, and their intention is purely peaceful. They're not going for war, they're going for Umrah, a minor pilgrimage, a spiritual journey to worship. To underscore their peaceful intentions, they carried no more weapons of battle, only the simple tools and the arms travelers would need for basic safety on the road. Their hearts were filled with devotion, not aggression, but as news of their approach reached the Quraish, the ruling tribe of Makkah, a different narrative began to unfold. The Quraish saw this large group of Muslims as a threat, even with their obvious peaceful demeanor. They decided, unequivocally, to prevent them from entering Makkah. It was a tense standoff in the making. As they neared Makkah, the Muslim caravan camped at a place called Hudaybiyyah, right on the city's outskirts. Here, in the dusty plains, the true test of leadership and the faith began. Despite the palpable tension, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, remained remarkably calm. His patience was a beacon, his demeanor radiating an inner strength that reassured his companions. He knew that sometimes, the greatest strength lies not in confrontation, but in measured response and in negotiation. And so, negotiations began. Days turned into a prolonged and arduous back and forth between the Muslim delegation and the Quraysh representatives. These weren't easy conversations. They were filled with difficult terms, challenging demands, and what seemed, on the surface, like painful compromises for the Muslims. The companions felt the weight of these negotiations, their hopes for a peaceful pilgrimage hanging in the balance. Finally, after much deliberation and tireless effort, a treaty was signed. It was known as the Treaty of Hudaybiyyah. But here's the twist: its conditions, at first glance, appeared shockingly unfair to many of the companions. Picture their faces, etched with disappointment, as they heard the terms. The treaty stipulated that the Muslims would have to return to Madinah that year without performing Umrah. Their spiritual journey was to be postponed. They would only be allowed to return the following year for a short, 3-day visit. And it didn't stop there. Another clause stated that if any Quraishi person came to Madinah seeking refuge with the Muslims, they had to be returned to Makkah. However, the reverse was not true. If a Muslim went to Makkah, they would not be returned. This seemed like a glaring double standard, a heavy burden placed solely on the Muslims. Many of the companions were understandably upset. They felt humiliated, heartbroken, and utterly defeated. Their long journey, their poor intentions, seemed to have culminated in a deeply disadvantageous agreement. Yet, amidst this widespread dismay, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stood firm. He accepted the terms of the treaty with unwavering patience and profound wisdom. He saw beyond the immediate pain and perceived humiliation. He understood that peace, even if it seemed temporary or came with difficult conditions, was a strategic advantage. He knew that this period of non-aggression would open doors for Islam to spread not through conflict, but through persuasion and example. He had a vision that his companions, in their immediate emotional state, could not yet grasp, and he was absolutely right. The years immediately following the Treaty of Hudaybiyyah proved to be transformative. During this period of relative peace, without the constant threat of warfare, the message of Islam flourished. Thousands upon thousands of people embraced Islam. The wisdom of the Prophet's decision became clear as the message of truth. And justice reached new tribes and lands, spreading far and wide without the need for war or bloodshed. Hearts were won, not conquered. Minds were enlightened, not forced. The Treaty of Hudaybiyyah was not a defeat. It was a strategic triumph. It was a testament to the power of foresight and trusting in a higher purpose. Just 2 short years later, when the Quraysh, in their short-sightedness, violated the terms of the treaty, the landscape had completely shifted. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, marched toward Makkah. But this time, it was with a powerful yet remarkably peaceful army. The sheer number of his followers, a direct result of the peace afforded by Hudaybiyyah, was undeniable. The people of Makkah, recognizing the futility of resistance against such a formidable yet peaceful force, surrendered without a fight. The city that had once expelled him, the very place that had denied him entry for pilgrimage, now opened its gates to him, not as a conqueror seeking vengeance, but as a revered leader, a liberator. This was the Fath Makkah, the conquest of Makkah, a bloodless victory that fundamentally changed the course of history. The story of Hudaybiyyah teaches us an invaluable lesson. Sometimes, what appears to be a setback is actually a strategic pivot point. What seems like a compromise can be the very foundation for greater success. It reminds us that patience, wisdom, and the willingness to embrace difficult peace can yield far more profound and lasting results than immediate confrontation. It's about understanding the bigger picture, trusting the process, and knowing that even in moments of perceived weakness, immense strength can be found. This narrative isn't just about historical figures. It's about the human spirit's capacity for resilience, strategic thinking, and the achieving incredible things through peaceful means. It's a reminder that true leadership isn't always about winning every battle, but about winning the war with wisdom and grace. Thank you so much for joining me today on this journey through history. I hope this story inspires you as much as it inspires me. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories and lessons from the past. Your support helps us bring more content like this to you. See you in the next video.